Once upon a time, two brothers lived in a small village nestled between rolling hills. The elder brother was wealthy and owned vast lands. He lived in a grand house with many servants. He was a man of few smiles and even fewer kind words. Greed had taken root in his heart, leaving little room for anything else. The younger brother, on the other hand, was poor. He lived in a tiny cottage on the edge of the village. He had little to his name but a kind heart and a generous spirit.
Warmly. Hello, neighbor. How can I help you today?
He was loved by all who knew him for his gentle nature and willingness to help anyone in need. He worked hard, but fortune did not seem to favor him. One particularly harsh winter, misfortune struck the younger brother. His crops failed, and he found himself with nothing to eat. Hunger gnawed at his belly, and despair began to cloud his usually hopeful eyes. Days turned into weeks, and the younger brother's situation grew dire. His meager stores of food dwindled to nothing. Finally, driven by desperation, he swallowed his pride and decided to seek help from his elder brother. He walked to his brother's grand house, his heart heavy with shame.
Timidly. Please, I need your help.
He knocked timidly on the heavy oak door. A servant answered, his face a mask of indifference. The younger brother explained his plight, his voice trembling with hunger and humiliation. The servant returned after what seemed like an eternity, a sneer playing on his lips.
Mockingly, my master says he has no time for beggars.
The servant announced coldly, slamming the door in the younger brother's face. Dejected and defeated, the younger brother trudged back towards his empty cottage. As he walked, an old woman stopped him. Her kind eyes held a hint of sadness as she listened to his tale.
Go to the forest, child. Seek out Hisi the wood goblin. He helps those in need.
The younger brother was skeptical, but desperation outweighed his doubt. He entered the forest, his heart heavy. He walked for what seemed like hours until he came across a clearing. In the center stood a small, crooked hut, smoke curling from its chimney. A strange creature emerged from the hut. It was short and squat, with pointed ears and a long white beard.
Rasping, you seek my help?
The younger brother poured out his heart, his voice thick with despair. Hisi listened patiently, then held out a small, muddy object.
Take this cow's hoof, it is all I can offer.
The younger brother was confused, but he remembered the old woman's words and accepted the gift with gratitude.
Thank you, but how will this help me?
Hisi chuckled, a sound like rustling leaves.
Go to the old mill by the river. Use the hoof to turn the millstone 3 times counterclockwise.
Following Hisi's instructions, the younger brother found the old, dilapidated mill. Cobwebs adorned the dusty millstone, and the air hung heavy with the scent of decay. He took a deep breath and, holding the cow's hoof, began to rotate the millstone as instructed. With each turn, the millstone groaned and shuddered, then began to grind faster and faster. Sparks flew from the grinding stone, illuminating the darkened mill with an otherworldly light. The air crackled with a strange energy, and a faint humming filled the air, growing louder with each rotation. As he completed the third turn, the millstone exploded in a blinding flash of light. When the younger brother could see again, he was staring at a sight that made his heart leap. Piles of gold coins, sparkling jewels, and luxurious fabrics lay heaped on the floor where the millstone once stood.
The magic millstone, a gift from Hisi the wood goblin, has transformed my life. I am no longer poor and hungry.
He used his newfound wealth to help others in need, remembering the kindness shown to him. He built a bigger house, not a grand one like his brother's, but a welcoming one with an open door for anyone who needed food or shelter.
I share my wealth with the villagers, building a new well and repairing the crumbling houses.
He became known throughout the land for his generosity, his name whispered with respect and admiration. The magic millstone had brought him more than just wealth. It brought him the love and respect of his community. News of the younger brother's newfound fortune reached the elder brother. Jealousy, green and venomous, coiled in his heart. He stormed to his brother's house, his face contorted in a mask of envy and rage.
Where did you get these riches?
He demanded, his voice trembling with avarice. The younger brother, ever kind, told him about Hisi the wood goblin and the magic millstone. He even offered to share his wealth, but the elder brother scoffed at his generosity. Greed had blinded him to all reason and compassion.
I want the magic millstone for myself.
Ignoring his younger brother's warnings, the elder brother rushed to the old mill by the river. He found the cow's hoof lying abandoned on the floor and, driven by his insatiable greed, began to turn the millstone. He imagined mountains of gold, chests overflowing with jewels, and his heart thrummed with anticipation. The millstone groaned and shuddered as he forced it to turn. Instead of gold and jewels, however, something else poured forth. Salt, fine and white, began to spill from the grinding stone, filling the mill with a fine white dust. It flowed out of the windows and doors, covering the ground outside.
What is happening?
The elder brother, blinded by greed, didn't notice the danger until it was too late. He had turned the millstone too many times. The salt kept pouring out, an endless white torrent, burying everything in its path. The mill began to sink into the ground, swallowed by the ever-growing mountain of salt.
Help! Someone please help!
His cries for help were lost in the roar of the salt. He had let his greed consume him, and now he was paying the price. The mill disappeared beneath the ground, leaving behind a gaping chasm and a mountain of salt that glistened white in the sunlight. The younger brother, his heart heavy with sorrow, watched as the earth swallowed the mill and his brother.
I mourned the brother I once knew, the brother who had been lost to greed.
He understood that the magic millstone was a gift, not to be abused, and that true wealth lay not in material possessions, but in kindness and generosity. He continued to use his wealth to help others, always remembering the lesson his brother's fate had taught him.
I told the story of the magic millstone and the salt mill to my children and grandchildren, passing down the cautionary tale through generations.
And so the legend of the two brothers and the magic millstone lived on, a reminder that true happiness lies not in what we possess, but in the good we do for others. The salt mill, buried deep beneath the earth, served as a constant reminder of the perils of greed and the importance of using one's blessings wisely. But what of the salt that poured forth from the mill? That salt, so the legend goes, seeped into the rivers and streams, eventually finding its way to the vast ocean. It is said that this is why the sea is salty, a lasting reminder of the elder brother's greed and the consequences of his actions. The salt, once a symbol of his insatiable desire for more, became a part of something vast and unknowable. It mingled with the tears of those who had lost loved ones, with the sweat of those who toiled under the hot sun, and with the rain that fell upon the earth, nourishing life itself. The saltiness of the sea, then, is not just a physical phenomenon, it is a story, a reminder that our actions have consequences and that greed, in the end, only serves to consume itself. The tale of the two brothers and the magic millstone is not just a story about greed and generosity, it is a parable about the delicate balance of nature and the interconnectedness of all things. The salt, a seemingly insignificant element, plays a crucial role in the ecosystem. It is essential for life, both on land and in the sea. The elder brother's greed disrupted this balance, unleashing a torrent of salt that threatened to bury everything in its path. The younger brother's kindness, on the other hand, restored a measure of harmony. He used his wealth to help others, understanding that true abundance comes from sharing our blessings with the world around us. The story reminds us that we are all part of something larger than ourselves, and that our actions have far-reaching consequences. It is a call to live in harmony with nature, to use our resources wisely, and to remember that true happiness lies in kindness and generosity. The magic millstone, in the end, is a symbol of the choices we make in life. We can choose to use our gifts for selfish gain, like the elder brother, or we can use them to help others, like the younger brother. The choice is ours, and the consequences of our choices will ripple outward, shaping not only our own destinies but the world around us. So, the next time you taste the salt on your lips, remember the tale of the two brothers. Remember that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the kindness we show to others and the legacy we leave behind. For in the end, it is not what we take from the world, but what we give back that truly matters. And kindness, like a single grain of salt, has the power to flavor the entire ocean.